Hey, this is Tali Berman, autism specialist, and welcome back to my picky eating series. This is video number 2. So video number 1, if you haven't seen it yet, the link is down below. It's all about why. Why is it important to focus on picky eating? Why is it important to make it a goal, not with angst, not with stress, but with a real commitment to help your child expand his or her diet? And this doesn't mean that your child is necessarily going to be willing to eat everything, but if your child can eat more than what he or she is currently eating, so that it doesn't get in his way of social experiences, of flexibility within the family, of the nutrition that is required, then that's going to be a real benefit to your child. So today's main strategy is, first and foremost, seeking biomedical support. And here's what I mean by that. So before you even, and I've done this with many families, begin to identify, okay, which foods do we want to introduce? Which foods do we want to eliminate, right? Because there's two real main stages, two main components to helping to expand your child's diet. One is elimination, which we'll talk about in the next video, and the next one is introduction, which we'll talk about in the fourth video. So before we even think about what foods do I need to eliminate or what foods I want to introduce, we want to do a thorough assessment of your child. And if you're not working with a biomedical interventionist, this is someone I refer my families to all the time that does proper testing, so you can first see what are the foods my child might be allergic to. Right? If I'm going to spend so much effort and energy trying to introduce foods, I don't want to introduce a food that, God forbid, my child's allergic to. Right? Things you might not suspect, like eggs or onions. There are garlic. There are kids who've been really allergic to things you might not suspect. So before you set on that path forward, make sure that you are putting that energy into the right place. And do a good assessment of allergy testing and make sure you are really clear what are the foods that your child's allergic to. This will not only help you to identify what to introduce when we get to that stage, but it will also help you identify what to eliminate when we get to that stage. All right, so that's the first piece I would really suggest, is doing some allergy testing and really get a sense through blood work and working with someone who can really tell you, hold on, I'm just gonna move this up, what foods are you really wanting to focus in on. But here's another component too that you might not know about, is that your child might have certain deficiencies that are actually the very cause of his or her picky eating, right? So I'll give you an example. I'm working with a family. I just referred them to a biomedical nutritionist that I work with, and they were really stuck with some picky eating issues. So they did a whole blood work series with this particular professional, and they began to introduce into his diet zinc. All right, reduced or a zinc deficiency can make things taste really weird to your child, really bland. So then if there's a weird texture and the food tastes really bland, it can be really repulsive to your child. They began to give him zinc. Apparently, she told me that it's especially helpful with protein. So if your child is really repulsed by protein, this could be a result of zinc deficiency. And I'll tell you how this ended up in a moment. And they began giving him amino acids that were prescribed by this biomedical interventionist. So what do I see? On Facebook, they're on a family vacation. This is exactly what I was talking about before in terms of helping your family have more spontaneous lifestyle when your child is not as much of a picky eater. And she's posting things like, oh my God, my kid, he's eating chicken tacos. This is the second one. He's never had a chicken taco in his life. He's eating all kinds of things I never even heard of. These like fishes fish was one thing he would absolutely not eat still. But all kinds of proteins, which was always a concern because he's a growing boy who had protein deficiency. And by introducing zinc and amino acids into his diet, it helped really open his appetite to things that honestly, if they hadn't addressed in a biomedical way, he probably never would be willing to try and taste, right? So not only do you want to look for what are the things my child is allergic to, so I don't introduce those things, what are the things that my child is allergic to so that he won't eat, I can not have those things in his diet, but what are some deficiencies that my child has that I can help take care of to help him be open to, have an appetite for the kind of foods I want to introduce. So this will really set you up, because if you put so much energy into introducing foods, but your child from a biomedical perspective just isn't in a readiness place to accept those foods, you're going to really have a lot of effort and work that's going to not be that productive for you or for your child. So step 1 is do your biomedical investigation. Understand more about allergies, understand more about sensitivities, and understand more about deficiencies, so that your child is all set up to continue forward in his path of expanding his diet. So that's the main strategy I wanted to leave you with today. There's work involved there for sure, but I think it's a primary foundation for moving forward. So I'd love to hear from you. What is one thing you're taking away from this video? Have you discovered a deficiency or an allergy along the way of testing that has really helped you pave the path forward? And if not, what is the one thing that I talked about today that you're really taking away as you move forward on your child's expansion of his diet path forward? So scroll on down, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you.